Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Kickin' Bass TV. Today's video we're gonna be starting out by doing a little river fishing downtown, trying to get into some smallmouth, maybe some rainbows. After that, we're gonna head down to my cousin's shop where we're working on a new custom ice sled to pull all of our gear for this year's ice fishing tournaments. And then we're gonna finish it up by heading up into the mountains, doing a little ice fishing. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down below and stay tuned. All right guys, today we started out just doing a little river fishing downtown. We're just throwing one of these 90X ghost minnow style floating jerk baits. It's a great option for river fishing pretty much year round, whether you're targeting smallmouth or you're targeting trout. Now, if you're targeting smallmouth in the river in the wintertime especially, you're gonna find that they tend to try to stay in that slower moving, calmer water, whereas the trout will still move pretty aggressively in that faster current, that busier water. And almost immediately, we had a pretty decent sized rainbow on the line. He actually popped off right here as soon as I pulled him out of the water, but luckily I was able to catch him and hang on to him. And as you can see, he's in pretty rugged condition, which is pretty typical of these urban river fish, especially if they've been caught a couple of times or been foul hooked, been through a couple of decent battles or whatnot. But overall, nice healthy rainbow, 23 inches long, almost 4.5 pound weight. So real nice size considering we caught it in the heart of downtown. So we went ahead and let him go so he can get even bigger. Somebody else can try to catch him. Then we headed down to my cousin's shop where he's building a new custom ice sled to pull behind his snowmobiles, pull all of our gear for this year's ice fishing tournaments. Basically what he did was took a couple of skis from an older snowmobile. We used those for the feet of the sled. From there, my cousin built a frame roughly 3.5 by 6 feet. After we sheeted that with plywood, went ahead and welded a couple of brackets to the front so that we could easily attach it to the snowmobiles and whatnot, slapped a fresh coat of paint on it, and from there, the only things left to do were to weather treat the wood and add our guardrails, at which point we have a fully functional heavy-duty sled that's not only strong enough to pull our entire team's gear for the ice tournament season, but can actually handle the weight of pulling more than another person if needed. While he was finishing up the sled, I found a couple of pieces of 2-inch pipe laying around, so I decided to cut those off into 6-inch sections. Then I took them over to the table grinder where I just cleaned up the rough edges on the bottoms and top, and then I also used the grinder to notch out a couple of inches on one side of each of the pipes. Once I had all those pieces notched out, I just drilled 2 holes in the backs of each of the sides that we just notched, and you're just going to take some light rope from there, thread it in and out of these pieces, and just like that you've got a nice, easy, affordable way to build a custom pole holder for your ice bucket, and it's a nice alternative to going out and spending 60 to 100 bucks on a custom ice rod holder. So with all of that done, we decided to head up into the mountains to do a little ice fishing to finish off the day. Now, originally, we drove up to Silverthorne hoping to get into some early ice at Dillon, but there was unfortunately only about 1/2 inch of ice and a ton of open water, so we weren't able to do any ice fishing up there. We came down to one of our local lakes closer to the city that's got plenty of ice on it. We were able to test out the new 8-inch drill attachment and auger and my cousin's brand new clam tent because he recently had his stolen out of the back of his truck. No more than a minute or two after we had everything set up, we already had our first fish of the day. My cousin ended up pulling the biggest trout of the day through the ice with this 17-incher here. Real nice color to this guy, real healthy looking fish as you can see. So we snapped a couple of pics of him and then we threw him back in the water. We decided to move around a lot today so we could try to target some big browns or some big brook trout. Now, while you can catch some 20+ inch brooks and browns in this lake, for the most part, it's a lot of these stalker sized rainbows in that 10 to 12 inch range. So for every brook or brown, you're gonna end up catching probably a dozen or more of these rainbows. But ultimately we got out, we accomplished what we wanted to do. We caught some fish, we had fun, and more importantly, we got to test out some of that new custom gear, including that new 8-inch drill attachment auger, which absolutely shreds. So that's gonna do it for the video today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, do me a favor and hit that like and share button. Subscribe to the channel because that's the best way to show your support. And as always, I love to hear from you guys, so don't hesitate to leave me a comment in the comment section down below. Until next time, guys, I'm D with Kickin' Bass TV.
Subscribe!